is the Ridiculously Amazing Insurance Agent Podcast, hosted by me, Kelly Donahue Piro. This show is for growing insurance agencies looking to maximize their biggest investment, their people. Listen to the top agency performance partners clients share their story on how they boosted their performance by executing a plan. Let's head to the show. Hi everyone, Kelly Donahue Piro here for your mashup of the 3-minute videos. If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you. We hope that you like our channel and follow us. If you're catching this on our podcast, definitely want to say, if you like what you hear, rate it and like it and tell your friends. If you look around, we're one of the only podcasts out there that doesn't have advertisers. So we do this just to share with you some really good content. And the way that we can grow, and you could say thank you, is by sharing this around. So this week's topic was all on the 4 agency processes your agency needs to kind of invest in. And for many agencies we work with, the process game has been really hard. What do we do? What do we say? It's almost like you're too close to it to get there. So we've created our agency process packs to help blast through that and make your agency's life a lot easier. So we break down a couple processes this week that we think that everybody should be looking at and thinking about. So some of them might surprise you, but might intrigue you too. So without further ado, I'm going to let you listen to our 4 processes that we think you need to be thinking about. We'll see you soon. So the first process we're going to break down is stopping a client cancellation. And I think for so many agents and agencies where this gets troubled is we have a lot of frontline staff that wants to be very accommodating, friendly, warm, doesn't want to kind of push somebody. So when they're canceling, we find a lot of people are almost making it the easiest process in the whole agency. Let me help you. Let me get you what you need. No problem. Let us know if you need anything. Where getting a new business quote or educating someone about an umbrella seems like the hardest thing to do. So what we find is that agencies need a process. What happens when someone wants to cancel? For many people, having a plan is the best way to go. Once you have the plan, you can practice it and rehearse it of how to save that cancellation. So check out how we recommend you handle cancellations in your agency. If you need that little extra step or you want that process, definitely check out our online store where we have the whole process laid out with a few training videos, scripts, etc., just to make it a lot easier on you. See you in the next video.
Hey everybody, it's Kelly Donahue Piro here again for another 3-minute video. And this week we're going to focus on 4 processes your insurance agency needs. And here's the good news. The good news is we have all of these built on our website just for you. So we have an agency process pack section in our store. And today's process I want to focus on is stopping a cancellation. So really big important thing is when someone calls in to cancel, many account managers are just not equipped with the right scripts or process to stop a cancellation. In fact, for many people, we get a little overwhelmed and anxious and say, absolutely, let me help you. They feel bad. We feel like we don't want to be pushy. We want to leave on a high note. They'll come back, right? Well, I say you want to do all those things plus a little bit more. I want to try to make sure that at the end of the day, one of the things that everybody's empowered with is ways to stop the cancellation. At the end of the day, just a few tips and tricks can go a very long way. So if somebody doesn't feel cared about when they leave, they certainly aren't going to want to come back. Sometimes it's a misunderstanding, and ultimately, all of it should go into our management system with the reason someone left. And a lot of times people leave by either calling us or by just doing it behind our back. Either way, we want to empower you with the right tools. So here's a couple tips. 1, when someone calls in to cancel, we need to get it into the hands of the best person to save it. Not everybody has equal talents in this area. While everybody can be trained, the idea is the best person should get it. They should have an empathetic ear and work quickly to solve problems. This could include quoting someone over the phone or listening and educating them on some of the other reasons why. The other thing is we have to believe that we can stop the cancellation. So a lot of times we get stuck with short rates and some of the other trip ups. They've already paid, they don't want to pay again. You need to kind of divorce yourself from some of those thoughts. The idea is that you get them on the hook, you get them interested. Depending on what you find, you work through those challenges. But we shouldn't start or stop before we start at the end of the day. Another tip that you have for stopping a cancellation is going ahead and really understanding why. Was it service? Was it price? All of this should be documented to keep strengthening the team and keep showing accurate metrics on what's really going on. But when someone calls in to cancel and they're calling you, I think that means that they want to try to be saved. They're giving you the opportunity. And too often in agencies, we see people just sort of forget about it. So those are some tips on how to stop a cancellation, and definitely go to agencyperformancepartners.com/shop and you can see all of our process packs on there. I'll see you tomorrow when we go through our next agency process you should have.
Our next one is on personal lines endorsements. And this is one that I find we get a lot of controversy on. Agencies have to define who they want to be. And for some agencies, they want to be fast. And there's this constant debate over speeding through things versus taking a minute and just working with the client. And so many account managers keep their head down and speed through tasks. Our management systems have kind of put this on us where everything's a checklist. Check, I got that done. Check, I got that done. And we're trying to slow people down to have outcomes. And so what we did was we put together a personal lines endorsement checklist. And when people say, they're like, oh my gosh, it's so big. I'm like, hold on. It's big, but there's different sections, such as if you're selling a vehicle, replacing a vehicle, a divorce. So it has a lot of bits and pieces to it, but you don't use the whole thing. And second of all, we have to make a decision. If someone's buying or replacing a vehicle, buying a new car, do we want to get all this information right? Do we want to do a review? Do we want to update everything? Because while you might feel like it takes a long time, it's not that long to ask a few additional questions. And yes, it does lead to the trailing work of needing to do that after, but people want it done right, not necessarily fast. And so there's a lot of misperceptions that we're going to actually break down in next week's video of some false beliefs we've been finding of fast. Everything's got to be fast. And we need to just take a deep breath and say, right is better than fast. And that's what we break down in this video. And if you need those checklists and you want to check them out, head to our online store. You can see them there. Thanks. Hey everyone, it's Kelly Donahue-Piro here for another 3-minute video. And this one's all on processes. So we're going over 4 processes your agency needs. The next one is a personal lines endorsement checklist. So we have this debate in agencies a lot. I'm a firm believer that we need checklists for as many things as possible, even if we've been doing it for 20 years. This is where mistakes happen. I fly a lot, and I love knowing that a pilot has a checklist to go off of. And let's be honest, our brains are getting mushier and mushier. The idea that you can take something out and go on autopilot is really appealing. But what we find is a lot of the, old school, been doing this forever, hate checklists because it takes their brain and formats it. We can't wing it anymore. The reality is that most of the winging it causes the E&O issues that we really need to fight against. And what we don't want to do is have these scenarios where everybody's doing something differently. A checklist allows that. So when we're working on our checklist, one of the things that is really important to me is that we decide, do we want to do it fast and easy, or do we want to be the boutique agency that really does it right? And we work with agencies that choose both. We work with agencies that will say, hey, somebody calls it a vehicle change, we swap the vehicle, we call it a day. We work with agencies that say, no, if someone changes a vehicle, we want to go through everything. Now, the mentalities are different, and that's where the values are. I think that the biggest component that we need to focus on is going ahead and saying, hey, do we need to check on the garaging? Do we need to check on the driver? Do we need to check on the mileage? Do we want to make sure we have the auto lien holder correct? All of these things make a big difference, and we can use it as an opportunity to make a review. If somebody is doing something as simple as changing a vehicle, it's a life change. We need to treat it as such. So in our process pack, we actually have a whole outline of all the questions to ask. Now, we walk you through the reasons, the why, how to use it, so that way we limit any E&O exposures, but also do a great job of explaining coverages to clients. So as you're looking at this, do you need help? This is great for a new employee that's just learning. And it's also great for a seasoned team that says, hey, you know what, sometimes my brain is mush and I need help. But also, we should all be doing it uniformly. Checklists make everything uniform. And that's why we have one in our agency process packs. You can check out go ahead and look on our store, and you can check out the personal lines endorsement process pack. But this is going to help you cross-sell, improve coverage, and not just take a change and make it a transaction, but make it a client experience. So that's our message for you today. Even if you're not interested in buying the process pack, that's fine. Everybody on your team should hear the same message. Are we a transaction, or are we trying to do the right thing when there's a life change? Because that's more of a value and a philosophical question than it is a checklist question. See you in the next video.
Hi, Agent. Kelly Donahue-Piro here. And I just want to let you know that we have some amazing things available to you on our online store. I know every agency is in need of great processes and procedures. And so we've pulled together some of our top ones that include scripts, workflows, etc., all together so you don't have to think about it. All of our process packs have videos, outlines, and usable content that you can go get started with today. They're also amenable. So what that means is that you can go ahead and twist them and edit them and make them your very own. So think of it as a starting point. I don't believe any agency should have to recreate the wheel for things that are already out there. So go ahead, dive in, take a look at some of our process packs. We have how to stop a cancellation, personalized endorsements, setting goals. We also have job descriptions and how to hire talent. So those are just a handful, and we're adding more all the time. So don't be shy about taking a look at it. Go ahead and go to agencyperformancepartners.com/shop, and you'll see all of our online store, including our ridiculously amazing agent swag. Hope to see you over there. Thanks so much.
So winning back unsold quotes. We find a lot of agencies are so focused on growth. We want to grow. We want new business, which I think is phenomenal. But we're missing some of the biggest low-hanging fruit, unsold quotes, lost customers, because we don't really have a good system in the agency. But we need to get that system going so that way, at the end of the day, we're not always spending money on quotes when we can sift through and find those really good cherries that are the things that are our ideal target clients and voraciously attack them. The best thing about an unsold quote is you already have all their information. It's very efficient. We just need a plan and a process to win them back. So we talk about how agencies miss this and what an opportunity it truly is to get everybody on the same page and maximize not only your marketing dollars, but also the quality of client you're working on. So in this video, we break down some tips. And remember, we have this all mapped out for you in our online store with this process pack. So if you need a starting point and you don't want to recreate the wheel, head on over there and check it out. We'll see you in the next video. Hi, everyone. So it's time for the third process I think every agency should invest in. And this is one that we see universally people have really struggled with. We have a quiz on our website. You can just go to agencyperformancepartners.com, and there's actually an online quiz to see how ridiculously amazing your agency is. Well, this one, lo and behold, gives people a lot of trouble. And the point of it is do you go back after lost customers or unsold quotes? And we see so many agencies that just struggle with this. And I think it's because, hey, we all don't have enough time, right? So we barely have enough time to do the things we need to do, let alone go back after last quotes. But at the end of the day, a small investment in this can really pay off. When we work with agencies and put a new producer on this, the skill set of leaving the voicemails and getting proactive makes a huge difference. So one of the things I really want to encourage everybody is to think through this. Do you have the resources to go back after it? Now, it takes a few steps in the right direction. So you're going to see this in our process pack. But one of the things I think everyone should consider is how clean is your data? When someone doesn't buy or doesn't leave, are we coding that correctly? At least set yourself up for favor in the future, or you can have that data to go back after. Another step I think is really, really critical is allocating resources to it. So in many agencies, people can't keep up with some of the work they're currently doing. Now, that's a topic for a different day. There's a lot of reasons for that. But what I want to do is sit down and say, hey, if we did see a new producer, could we get them up to speed faster if we gave them some of this list? The answer is yes. You need to have 3 steps to this process. What happens when they either don't buy or leave? And we're going to outline that. There should be surveys and there should be connection on that front. It shouldn't just be like, okay, bye. Then you need to have a nurturing campaign. So every agency should have some kind of CRM tool they can drop people into just to keep your name in front of them. It's a huge step in the right direction and it drives so much value. So these could just be like monthly emails like, hey, happy Halloween, happy birthday. And this just keeps your name in front of a really good quality prospect because hopefully if we're doing it right at the point of sale, we're filtering all this stuff out. Then the last step is going ahead and saying what happens pre that renewal date. Do we have a sequence, a plan? Usually there's a combination of emails, phone calls, and even mailing a quote to them. And you can really outline this to be really productive. It's going to take more than one phone call, and that's where a lot of people get burned out on calling back unsold quotes or lost customers because we think we call them once and they're going to show up, but it's not always that simple. So we hope that you enjoy these strategies. It's really a huge opportunity for agencies. And once a little time goes by, people get the rhythm of it. They see it as a huge benefit. You already know the quality of the lead. You have all the information. It's very efficient. It's a great way to welcome a new person into the agency to get them some experience. So if you have any questions, let us know, but we'd love to talk to you more about it, or you can check out our process pack where we have it all outlined for you. Thanks so much, and we'll see you in the next 3-minute video. The final one we have here is something I'm particularly passionate about because I've struggled with it myself for a long time. And whenever I struggle with something, I kind of immerse myself into books and podcasts and just sort of fill my brain for 12 weeks a quarter on the topic. And then it becomes a little clearer to me as my brain kind of defragments it. Think of it as almost like marinating your brain in a topic. Goals are super hard because a lot of times our data is tough. We're not sure where to start. And honestly, a lot of times our team rejects goals. No one likes a measuring stick. But they're super important, whether it's goals of projects you want to accomplish, revenue goals. And so we find so many agencies just need a starting point, a framework, if you will, to start understanding how to set a goal. And that's what we did with this process pack. We actually break down calculators, like input your data and just see what comes out to break it down, how to roll out the goals. So this is a really critical one. It might be one you're thinking of like, hey, well, what's our claims process? I get that. But a goals process for a leadership team is really, really important too. And we're all works in process. So we're hoping that this gives you a really great starting point to get either goals started, adhered to, and held consistently, or polished up. So check it out. And if you like it, go to our process pack. We'd be happy to help you set your goals. Hey everyone, so we're now on to our next process that agencies need. And this one's gonna kind of throw you for a loop because I think it's something we're all not great at. And you might not think of it as an agency process, but it's actually the process on how to set goals for your agency. So many agencies have kind of been like, let's wing it, let's operate off the P&L. If we have a good year, here's a bonus and we move on. But with all the data points today, setting goals is really critical. So if you take a look at our process pack that we have, we always start out with this, and you could do this on your own. If you feel like you want us to help you because we already have it kind of templated for you, by all means, go for it. You can find it in our online store. You start out with what is the agency's revenue or premium, whichever one you feel more comfortable grabbing. Revenue is how you get paid, but not every agency's revenue is accurate in their management system. You then go ahead and apply a retention rate. So say you're at 90%. What does that look like? So we know we've got to make that premium up that year. Then you factor in an average rate increase. Maybe in your it's 3%, 4%, whatever it looks like. And that's going to give us a starting line based on each and every single month, based on your revenue of where you're at, where you would be at if you didn't sell any new business. Then we're going to target in a growth rate. And the growth rate maybe is 8%. Marshberry has always said that in order for you to be sustainable, agencies need to be growing 8% a year. So if you target it in 8% with the rate increase and the losses, this gives you an idea of how much we have to sell in new business to have a goal that month. Now, the great part about what we're talking about here is if you can get these goals down, all these variables start coming into play. Well, what if your retention goes to 92%? You're either growing higher, or if you have a bad business month, that can go ahead and take a little bit of an advantage. If rate increases are a bit higher, that can go ahead and get you too. So then you have this number, right? This is the number that we have to hit for new business. And then we can assign allocations to everybody, whether it's the service team will cross sell this much, the producers need to sell this much, and you can even go person by person and month by month. It's really empowering when you start to break down this big number into weekly, monthly, and daily goals. And even by person, it becomes much more attainable. But for a lot of people, we put this goal on the target and there's no actual way to get there. Once you have your goal, your next step is going to be, what's the plan? We're going to go back after lost business. We're going to give you these tools to cross-sell, because a goal without a plan is really hard. Think about weight loss, something I'm sure we've all been through at some point in our life, right? Like lose weight. Okay, well, what do? I don't know how to use this equipment at the gym, or I'm not sure what to eat. A plan helps everybody get there. Now, we're never perfect on our plan. That's part of being human. But the idea is we keep building up that muscle memory and that strength. And that's why your agency needs a whole process on not only how to set goals, to hold you accountable to doing them and doing them routinely, how to report on them, how to check on them, and then taking it into the training side of what to do when you get there, because everybody needs a good plan. For so many agencies, they shy away from goals because they're icky. They make us vulnerable. And when we're vulnerable, we don't love that. So when we're vulnerable, we think about all the things we're not doing, what we're missing. But I want to reconvene on that and kind of reformat what your thoughts are on that, because a goal also helps us stretch and get in a good direction. Goals often get a bad rap because too many people feel it's just, it's too much. I don't like it. It's pressure. But it doesn't always have to be pressure if it's presented in the right way. So agencies need a process to set goals. They need a methodology, a framework for it. If you struggle with that in the past, definitely check out our process pack. We'll see you in the next 3-minute video. So that's our processes, and we actually have more processes on our online store that we just couldn't get to. So we hope you check it out. Just go to agencyperformancepartners.com/shop. Even if it just gives you some ideas for processes you need to create, we're happy to help. If you're not interested in purchasing, we understand. We don't want to make this a sales pitch. You can actually go to our blog and there's a search bar. We have over 700 blogs we've written on different insurance topics. And I bet you there's something in there about a process you need to create. So we don't want to leave you hanging. We appreciate all of the support. And like we said, if you've enjoyed this podcast and you like what we're doing, please like it or tell your friends. We'd love to hear from more people. If you have a question that you want us to tackle in one of our 3-minute videos, let us know. We'd love to hear from you on something you're struggling with in your agency, and we're happy to promote that content. Until next week, we'll see you then. Good job being ridiculously amazing this week, agents. And make sure your agency has these processes, because without them, you're sort of winging it. See you later.